Okay, so welcome everybody. As usual, please go ahead and introduce yourself in the chat and mention what country you are joining us from. Now, if you do not see your country represented in the flags that we have on the screen right now, please type your country. Type your country in the chat and we will update it by this time tomorrow. Eric Adubi, I see you. Derity, my regular, I see you very much. Okay, Tevita Dros, I see you. Godwin, I see you. Sarah Jalague, I see you. Is that Sierra Leone? Okay, please type your country in the chat. Okay, if you don't see your country where you are watching from, please type it in the chat. Okay, and go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do and your business in the chat. Remember that one of my biggest intentions is that you will become a community. You'll begin to know yourselves, and because you come from different countries, I wouldn't be very surprised if tomorrow Dan from Aba is able to export goods to Namibia. Okay, so do say what you do, what your business is, so that we can start to get used to each other. All right, so let's get right into the exciting subject of today. I couldn't wait for today because, as usual, this is a very important subject. And many times our businesses are not growing into what they could become because of some of these issues that are underestimated that we will be talking about. All right. Yeah, Nino Costa, thank you for joining. Rafael Morris, thank you for joining. Please indicate what country you are watching from so we can update our country's map. Okay, so today we'll be talking about how to create a product that stands out in a crowded market. You see, today there's just so many products. There's multiplicity of products. There's just so much, millions of products coming out of China every single day. And then for people in services, you have discovered that because of the explosion of artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, Gemini, and so many others, there are multiplicity of services, of coaching businesses, of online services, of packages all over the place. So it's difficult to actually stand out. And I was reading an article written by Chioma Ifani Eze a little while ago. And then she said something about the fact that many of the coaches, people in the coaching space in the country, are struggling because they are all targeting one specific market on Instagram. And this is so very true. The products sound similar, the advertisements sound similar, and it's all for the same market. So it's getting very challenging to get the attention of the market. Therefore, what we're going to be discussing tonight will give you insight to stand out in the product or services that you create for your customer, because you really need to stand out. If you don't stand out, if your product doesn't stand out and it's a sort of me too product, your business is not going to do very well, because the products that usually scale a business are products that are very unique, that stand out in a crowded market with so many products. I mean, if you come to literally every single sector, for instance, in Nigeria, I don't know whether it's the same thing in Ghana, in South Africa, in Liberia, in these different places, but over the past couple of years, like the last 10-15 years, there have been multiplicity of hotels everywhere. So, and my own reading is that the politicians that are, let me not say the word, let me just say, taking more money than they can use, they don't know what to do with the money. So everybody is building a hotel. And so you go to some of the cities, you get to one street that's possibly 100 meters, and then you're seeing a hotel every 10 meters. So it's not very uncommon to go to some towns in Nigeria, some cities. It doesn't even have to be Lagos or Abuja, and on every street you can count 10, 15, 20 hotels. And so if you are in the hotel business, tonight is talking about why your product, your service, your business has to stand out in a crowded market. It's the same thing with schools. If you come to education, it's the same thing. You find multiplicity of schools, of primary schools, of secondary schools, and then parents are often dazzled or dazed when it comes to making a choice of where to send their child for education. Same thing with universities. They've all multiplied. And what makes your own product stand out? And for some of you joining us for the first time, my name is Obo Awoke Obo. And I woke up a little over 2 weeks ago asking myself, if I had only 1,000 days to live, what wisdom will I leave behind for the world that's just most valuable, that subsequent generations can look upon and build greatness? And then someone might ask, so what gives you the audacity, Obo, to do this? You are not a billionaire. You don't have a private jet. You are not this. You are not the president of a country and all that. But what gives you the audacity to do that? What gives me the audacity? I have lived a full life across the spectrum of joy and sorrow, the spectrum of poor and rich, the spectrum of confused to confident. I've lived across all the spectrums. And then professionally, I have had a very exciting career working with Shell, and then Chevron, and then back to Shell. And then I've also had the incredible privilege to work with the brightest minds in the world in the Stanford University. For the Stanford University, they have a program they call Stanford Seed, and I was extremely blessed to be a business advisor for Stanford Seed for nearly 6 years. And within this time, working with the most amazing Stanford business professors, that the people you read about in the news, and then you read their textbooks. That was incredible blessing. And then, of course, I've had the opportunity to help so many businesses and then to teach so many executives at Lagos Business School and China Europe International Business School. And what I'm actually most proud of is not all these things, but that I have a family. I have a happy home. So we've had our growth phases between me and my wife, as husband and wife, of almost 29 years, and then being able to raise godly children who are respectful of their elders, who make godly choices, who take initiatives, who help their communities, who make significant contributions where they are in different parts of the world. I'm most proud of it. Therefore, what am I hoping and praying that you get out of this 1,000-day experience? Number one, for you to develop the skills, the competencies, the strategies to attain financial independence, to define what financial success means to you, and to have a line of sight plan between where you are now to where you could be in the next 3, 5, 10 years. The second thing I'm hoping that these 1,000 days will do for you and for me is to build businesses that are bigger than us. Businesses that are not just set up to make money, because that is the lowest reason to set up a business. If you just set up a business because you want to make money. But you see, you set up a business because there are bigger challenges in the world that your business is just a channel. Your business is just a means to solve bigger problems in the world, like hunger, like justice, like poverty, like illiteracy, like lack of education, communities that don't have potable water, disease, and things like that. So these are the things that businesses are set up to do. And the money is a byproduct of that. All right. So does this sound exciting so far? Amazing. Welcome, Abdul Gueye. Please do say what country you are watching from. I can see a couple of names here. Okay, I can see the Gambia. Malik is Gambia. I don't have Gambia, so we are going to update our map to include Gambia. All right. Okay. And then type in the chat. Are you getting excited already? Are you getting value? Yeah, say yes, say yes, say yes in the comment section. For those of you joining us for the first time, I usually encourage people to be very, very active on the comment section. The reason is, whenever you catch an aha moment, something that is very insightful, one way that you get it to register on your nervous system is by typing it in the comment section and also making a note of it in your journal. And then before we proceed, I want to give you a question that I normally want everyone who is going through my business coaching session to have in mind. And I would like you to type this question in the comment section. This question is what bridges theory and practice. Okay? Because it is never enough to just come and gather all the insight and then all the knowledge and you do nothing with it. So the question that you want to constantly ask yourself, and then some of you who are very, very familiar with my programs already know this question. This question helps you to translate the theories and the insights you're getting from this program into action. Because it is not the theory that's going to scale your business. It is not the theory that's going to add fatness, abundance to your wallet. It is not the theory that's going to make your marriage and your home a happy place. It is the action. It is the practice. Now, so how do you go from the theory, from the insights you're getting into implementation? This is the question that helps you do that. So whenever you hear something that is very, very insightful, that really, really resonates with the deepest part of you, the question you want to ask yourself is, how might I make this actionable? Everybody type that in the chat. How can I make this actionable? That is a very important question to always ask when you are going through an event like this. You keep that question at the back of your mind. You keep it written in the comment section. You keep it written in your journal. How can I make this actionable? What you just heard me say, how can I make this actionable? All right? Every single moment, how can I make this actionable? Then as you answer those questions, you make notes of the answers that are coming to you. How can I make this actionable? So type that in the chat. Everyone type that in the comment section. How can I make this actionable? How can I make this actionable? And then as you're typing that, please indicate what country that you are joining us from. I can see Okereke Dan. I can see, saying, how can I make this actionable? Yes, Patricia, Jumai, Emmanuel, Uboro, how can I make this actionable? Christiana, how can I make this actionable? Chioma Hefziba, Jackson Lewis, how can I make this actionable? This is perhaps the most important question you should be asking yourself every single moment. I have journals. I keep journals every day, and many times, even from a phone call, or I read a post on LinkedIn, on Medium, or I hear something on TikTok or YouTube, and it touches me. I capture it immediately. And I'm like, how can I make this actionable? Earlier this evening, I was reading a post, and then this gentleman was talking about how he made a very powerful comeback from his family situation. And then he said something. He said that I had to write it down, so I'm looking for it here on my journal. He said that never fight for anything that money can replace. That was incredible wisdom. So when you hear things like that, you don't just let it go. You don't let it go. So on one of the sessions, I'm going to take us through how to take notes, because taking notes can transform your life like it has transformed mine. So he said, never fight for anything money can replace. So I put it down, and then I'm asking myself, how can I make this actionable? All right. Earlier in the day, I was listening to a podcast, and then the guy said, the magic you are looking for is in the work you are avoiding. So when I heard that, I was asking myself, how can I make this actionable? So I had to ask myself, what is the work that I'm avoiding right now? Because it's all those things you are avoiding that usually hold the magic. And then many times, because we are avoiding the really important work that we are doing, we find ourselves scrolling endlessly on social media, and then at the end of it, we end up doing nothing with it. So never forget that question. Type it, write it somewhere. You always see it beside your bed, beside your office desk, wherever. Screensaver. How can I make this actionable? All right. So we have a 3-part agenda today. So the first is we're going to have a recap of what we did in the first part of this series on product innovation. A recap of that. Then we will go on to discuss the 2 conditions for creating a powerful product. Some products are powerful, some are not. Many products die, we never hear about them. And even in Silicon Valley, you might hear about, TikTok, TikTok, maybe TikTok. I don't know if TikTok or Silicon Valley. It probably was. Or you might hear about X, Twitter, okay, when it came out during the depression, the years of depression. Or you might hear about Uber. You might hear about which other company was started during the depression of 2008. Airbnb. But you see, for one Airbnb that succeeded, there were probably 10,000 similar products that did not work. For succeeded, there were probably 10,000, 50,000 other social networks that started at the same time that Mark Zuckerberg did, and they never made it to the limelight. So why do some products succeed and others do not succeed? Beyond luck, could there be things that we can learn from very, very successful products that we can reverse engineer in creating our own products? Okay, and when I say products, that also includes services. Good. So let's recap what we did in the first part of the series, and then we talk about what we are going to do in the third part of this series about developing products that customers really, really love. Okay. Siluzile Martin Toboti, thank you for joining. Let us know what country you are joining us from. Danjuma Stephen is joining us from Calabar, Cross River State is in Nigeria. Lawrence Nolly, thank you for joining. Morgan Gibbs White, thank you for joining. Tell us where you are joining us from. Okay, good. Now, the first mind-blowing fact for me, I'm mind-blown. I'm mind-blown myself by the fact that 8 billion people on the planet are buying daily. 8 billion people. Everybody type 8 billion in the comment section. I really want this to hit you. 8 billion people are buying on a daily basis. 8 billion human beings. The poor are buying, the rich are buying, the professionals are buying, the single mothers are buying, the single fathers are buying, the married people are buying, they are wedding, they are buying cakes, they are buying all kinds of things every single day. Even the people who are dying, people are buying things on their behalf. They are buying coffins, they are buying wreaths, they are buying all kinds of things. There's a lot of buying going on the planet every single day. Type 8 billion people. Type 8 billion people on the comment section. 8 billion people are buying daily. They are buying daily. Therefore, none of us here, neither you nor I myself hosting this, has any reason to struggle financially, because people are buying. So the question now is going to be, which we are going to talk about today, what are they buying? In fact, more importantly than what are they buying is, why are they buying? Please type that in the chat. Why are they buying? What are they buying? 2 questions you should sleep with tonight. 2 questions you should take back to your people, to your team, in your company, in your meeting tomorrow morning. When you huddle tomorrow morning, take out 15 minutes of brainstorming. Tell your team, listen, yesterday I was in this live business coaching. And then Obo said that 8 billion people are buying daily. In fact, I even feel like just stopping here for tonight, because this thing really needs to hit us, to really go deep. People are buying. In recession, they are buying. In good times, they are buying. You are complaining about economic hardship, but people are buying. People are buying cars every day. People are building houses every day. I am really even amazed myself. In the estate I live here, every single day you go out there, somebody is building. With the cost of cement that people are complaining about, people are buying cement. What is it you are complaining about today that is gone up so high? People are buying. Therefore, we have no excuse. We need to figure out 2 things. Number 1, what are they buying? But more importantly, why are they buying? So type those 2 questions, okay? What are they buying and why are they buying? Because if you can sort out that, then that is all the MBA you will ever need. If your company can sort out why are they buying and what are they buying, you have all the money that you can think about in this world, okay? Because think about it. Japanese are buying, Chinese are buying, Africans are buying, Americans are buying, everywhere. Which place? Europeans are buying every day. So literally, this is a world of commerce. This is a world of buying and selling. In fact, there's an Igbo adage. So the Igbos are a tribe of people in the eastern part of Nigeria. So they have this ancient adage. They say that actually is a metaphor. They say that the whole world is buying and selling. And I don't know whether that's actually what has informed the commercial nature of the typical Igbo man. You know, they do lots of buying and selling, and everywhere you see them, because the whole world to the Igbo man is a place where buying and selling is going on. And so this is a very important philosophy to imbibe in your business. Buying and selling is going on every single time. Even on social media, buying and selling are going on every time. So we talked about the first time. The second highlight of the first part was that we said that you are actually the main product. My goodness. You are the main product. You are the chief product. You are the first product. Remember, we are talking about developing winning products that customers love, products that are very profitable, products that stand out in the crowded market of products. So number 1, we said that you are the product. You are the product because if you don't work, nothing else can work. The product itself will not work. So we established that You can never sell beyond your self-image. And then we also established that you can never make more income, more money, either as an entrepreneur or as an employee. You can never make more money than your self-image. So your self-image is the thermostat of your abundance. Oh, that is just a bomb. I mean, I just type that in the chat. Type that in the chat. Say, my self-image is the thermostat of my abundance. Or you can even make it sound cool by saying, my self-image is the thermostat of my bank account. Put that in the chat. My self-image is the thermostat, is the regulator, is the thermostat of my bank account. So that is what we established yesterday. The implication of this is that you should spend more time working on yourself than creating products. Oh my goodness. Spend more time working on yourself than creating the product. Everybody talks about the late Steve Jobs today because he indeed, I agree, he indeed was one of the most spectacular business geniuses of all times. And then in his time, he created amazing products. He even created products that the world didn't know that they needed until the product came out. My goodness, I still remember the shivers when iPod came out, and I don't know how many of you were in the session were old enough when iPod came out from nowhere and totally decategorized Sony Walkman and all those products. And I still remember when he was alive, when the iPad came out. Today we take it for granted, but those were like incredible, unheard of previously, unthought of previously, unheard of products. Now, why was this guy able to do things like this? Why was it that after they pushed him out of Apple the first time, and then he went and founded, I believe it was Pixar or so, and then after a couple of years, they brought him back when Apple was almost dying. And then almost overnight, Apple became very, very successful. And at some point, in fact, even now, is one of the most valuable companies in the world. This guy was just churning out incredible products. Now, I can guarantee you that Steve Jobs was able to do that, and whoever is doing similar things today, Jeff Bezos of Amazon, an incredible entrepreneur, or Elon Musk, all those people, first of all, they are the main product. That's why when Jobs was alive, Apple was almost synonymous with him. Today, Tesla, SpaceX is almost synonymous with the personality of Elon Musk. Amazon is almost synonymous with the personality of Jeff Bezos. Because you see, you can never create more wealth than your self-image. And then your knowledge would always limit you. So you are the main product. That was a recap of yesterday. And then from there, we now came on to the most simplified formula for getting rich. We said that it just got two variables. Create and find that one product, because you are just one product away from incredible income. And then what I do every day, I keep searching, I keep researching. What is that one product? What is that one product? And then yesterday we saw some examples of such products, okay, or day before yesterday when we did the part one. Then sell it over and over again. So we established that having the product is not enough. The ability to sell it complements that. So the only two entrepreneurial activities that produce profit is number one, the product, and number two, selling and marketing skills. And if you are in business and you are not doing these two things at any particular time, you are going down. You are not going forward. Then we now talked about the concept, the BCG tool that allows us to determine which product is a cash cow, all right? That is the product that will consistently bring in steady profits, even with minimal effort. So we discussed all that. And then we went to through a couple of examples, how in your company you can determine which products are star, which products are cash cow, which products are question mark, and which products are dog. And we explained it in detail. Go back to the first part. You can find it on YouTube. You can also find it on Facebook. And then go through that so that you can have a very excellent background. All right, so let's step into today's agenda. So there are two conditions for creating a powerful product. Everybody say two conditions. Type two conditions. You see, I like simplifying things. In the business schools I have taught, I'm always, like the apostle of simplicity. Maybe because I didn't have a background, academic background in business. I approach it, with native wisdom and then with simplicity, because sometimes the academic terminologies and things like that, can confuse ordinary small business owners. So I like keeping things simple. I like breaking down complicated academic theories to something very digestible that the small business owner can apply and do very well. So there are only two conditions if you want to create like a really, really powerful product. So after studying really, really thousands of products, I saw these two things. Number one, the first condition is that you must know your target market. You must know who exactly you're creating the product for. And this is where in the business schools I taught, in Stanford University, in Lagos Business School, in a couple of places, in China Europe International Business School, I've always shared the story of my canoe. Okay? We will not share that today. In the third part, I will share the story of how I took years, more than 2 years, developing a product. So for you who are not non-Nigerians, there's a sort of drink, it's non-alcoholic, that is fermented from maize, millet, and then some other, grains, and sweetened, and it's really very good. So I tasted it for the first time in 2000, I beg your pardon, in 1990, what am I saying, 1998? No, I graduated in 1989, I beg your pardon, 1988. Okay, so I graduated in 1988 for my first degree, not my postgraduate. And then in Nigeria, there's what we call youth service, where the young graduates under 30 years serve the public, national service. They serve the public, so they are posted to different places to do things. So I lectured in University of Maiduguri during my youth service in 1988. And so while I was there in 1988/89, I tasted this amazing drink for the first time in my life, and it was called Kunu. And then there was another one they called Fura Danunu. If you know Kunu or Fura Danunu, just type in the chat. Just say yes. Let me make sure that some of you actually get it. But for non-Nigerians, so that's really a very... so at that time, I came up with this incredible business idea to package that drink. Okay, so which today, there are so many tools, there are so many machines coming from China that you can use to fill machines. There are many kinds of containers. But in those days, these things did not exist. Okay, story short, I did my kunu, but I never thought about who was going to drink it. So that business died even before it saw the light of the day. So two conditions before you develop a product, to develop a product that's actually going to be loved by the market and that will stand out. Know your target market, know what they buy. All right. So in fact, even at this stage, let me ask you, what is one product that you've bought that you're really very proud of? Type in the chat, one product that stood out. It stood out for you. It could be a car, it could be a small purchase, a food item, something you buy every day, toothpaste or something, or a particular brand. So it's okay to mention like one product that really stood out for you. And it has become, you've become very loyal to that product. So for instance, an example for me is Vitamix blender. So it's one product that stood out. So when we're looking for a blender, Vitamix stood out for me. And then when I did the research, I found that there were people who bought Vitamix blenders even in the 1940s, and those blenders are still working today. So that's a product that stood out for me. All right, so type in the chat. I want to see a couple of examples of products that stood out for you in the marketplace. Type in the chat. Okay, let's take a few minutes. Remember, it's a coaching session. So when you type in the chat, then I get the impression that I'm not the only one doing the talking. Okay. All right. Master Abraham said Dettol soap. Yeah, so Dettol soap stood out for you. Okay, very good. What other products? What other products stood out for you? Okay, Dettol soap. Okay, I can see Samsung phone. Very good. I can see Oral-B toothpaste. Very, very good. Excellent. Okay. Yeah, mine was Vitamix or Vitamix, depending on where you were born. What else? I need to see more products. What products do you use? Did you buy because it stood out for you when you were making a purchasing decision? What products stood out for you? Okay, I want to see more examples. I think they're a little bit slow in coming because of network. Felicia says long reach roll-on stood out. Okay. Izuna says Oxen industrial fine. Very, very good. Very true. Samsung A52 phone, Jackson says. Yamusa said Google Pixel phone. Charles says close-up complete protection toothpaste. Amazing. Chukwebuka says Indomie noodles. Yeah, absolutely. And one of the ways I teach product development, and also one of the ways I teach product development or sales in the business school, is to find out, just this question I've asked you, the products that stood out for you. And then I will have you do an exercise to say why those products stood out for you. Felicia says, my brand new Hyundai Tucson. Right. And then by the time you can decode why a particular product is your favorite, you will be amazed that you will be able to create products that are very amazing to other people. So let's get right into it. So the first thing we'll tackle in this part of the agenda is, why do people buy? Remember, I had asked you to type 2 questions in the comment section. I said, the first question is, what do they buy? But if you stop there, you will not do well. You will not do good products. Okay, whether it is a product or it's a service, you must ask, why do they buy? And I can give you a quick example from the top of my head. Now I do sell palm oil at this particular time, because I'm into commodity trading as well. At this particular time, so I do have wholesale palm oil. Now, this palm oil, I source them by myself, because in my state, we make palm oils in a very different way. And they don't use machines, they use traditional methods. And then, so palm oil in my part of the world is pretty more expensive than you get in other places. Now, a woman reached out to me on LinkedIn because she bought palm oil from the market. When she went to cook with this thing and then opened it, the palm oil had a very, very foul smell, extremely foul smell. So she told me it was smelling like feces, like there was some poop inside it. It was horrible. So she closed it and took it back to the seller. I kept a record of this conversation because I knew that one day I would talk about it like this. Remember, we are discussing why do people buy. So it's even more important for you to understand why people buy than what they buy. It's also necessary to know what they buy, but keep that one at the deepest part of your mind. Why do people buy? So this woman said she took it to the woman who she normally buys palm oil from and said, please check this, that this thing has foul smell. It doesn't smell like palm oil, that something should be wrong. The woman said no, nothing was wrong. But she went to the gallon, the bigger gallon where she retails. And yes, indeed, this thing has some terrible foul smell. Very, very foul smell. So the woman, the seller herself, was terribly, terribly disappointed. In fact, she said it wasn't the first time that it was happening and that she just wanted to give up selling palm oil because of that. So, well, story cut short, she did some investigation where this palm oil actually comes from. And it turns out that in that place, that they put the palm, during the palm oil milling process, that they use their feet. They pour the palm nuts after cooking or something. So they pour it in a pit, in a deep pit. Then you have all these people, these women, young women and other, who now go into that place and they use their feet to try to crush the mesocap of the palm, whatever. And then some of them, in the process of doing that, you better believe this, they pee into it. And you better believe this, that somebody, of course, for this particular batch had pooped, because that thing was the smell of feces. That is horrible. So she now reached out to me on LinkedIn to buy palm oil from me because of that experience. So now, let me ask you the question. Let me ask you this question. Very, very interesting question. Was it palm oil that she wanted to buy from me? What do you think? Was it palm oil? She now reached out. So, the what is palm oil, but the why was much more important. That's why I'm saying that you should not stop at what they buy. You should also focus on why they buy. Why do you think that woman wanted to buy from me? It's trust. It's trust. Okay? And then the commonest one in Nigeria, I don't know whether it happens in other places, the commonest one is people use chemicals to dye the palm oil to make it reddish, more reddish. So they put chemicals in it. And then people wonder, where all these diseases are coming from, kidney failures and organ problems in Nigeria, every day, where they're coming from. So there's a reason people buy. You must understand. So we'll talk about that. So what this woman is what she buys from me is trust. Exactly. Emma Charles said it in the comment. It's trust. Exactly. Okereke Dan also said the same thing. Aderity said the same thing. It's trust and credibility. And you really need to bear that in mind when you are creating products. It's not just the commodity people are buying. They are buying because of something else. Something happened during the pandemic in 2020. There was a time that you could get your nose masks, like in Nigeria, for 100 naira, which is less than 1 cent or something, 1/10 of a cent of a dollar, like 1 cent or something, now, or 10 cents. But at that time, Louis Vuitton was selling the same nose mask, which is supposed to be for the same purpose, for $400, $399. Now, somebody buys, you can step into the store. I was in the US a couple of weeks ago, and then you step into some of these stores, even like Walmart, Target, or some of the malls, and then you can actually find $10 watches, $15, $20 watches, and if you go to some Chinatown, or you can even find $5 watches. Okay, so people buy a watch for $10, but they also buy. But you see, people spend so much money to buy Rolex. I have seen a legacy Rolex watch, 1959, for over $600,000. And then there are people who have bought watches for $2 million. The same watch that you buy $10, another person is buying it for $2 million. Why? So because it is not the what. If you focus on the what, you will not develop good products. You will not develop products that are scalable. So you've got to understand the why and focus on that. So why do people buy? One of the first things you should do, like if you have a business team, when you go to the office tomorrow, do this. It's a very neat and interesting exercise. Just ask everybody, why do you buy? Okay, like all that Hyundai Tucson Felicia bought, or the Samsung phone, or these other things that people mentioned in the comment section. Why do you buy? Why did you buy? Then why do you buy the things you buy every single day? That's an important indication. It will let you know exactly why other people buy, because it's not very far from the reason other people buy. But one of the things to actually do to find out why people why they buy, is to actually think about why they don't buy. Yeah, and you reverse it. So people don't buy for 4 reasons. They don't believe that the product will work for them. And you really need to know this as a business owner, as a coach, as a content creator. People will not buy if they don't believe that your product will work. Okay? That's why lots of people are not buying a prophet somebody's water that is supposed to heal you. A lot of people don't believe that it will work. Actually, it's a scam. People don't buy because they don't believe it will work for them. So even if they believe that it works, they will think they don't believe it will work for them. So I've had people who kind of were reluctant to enroll in my financial coaching program because they believe that it will only work for those who have money. That it won't work for them, so they don't buy. People also don't buy because they don't trust you. And then it comes back to what we are talking about, that you are the first product. You are the main product. So you work on you first of all before you work on others. You develop the credibility and the trust. Also, another reason people don't buy is that they are not ready yet. They are not ready yet. So knowing why people don't buy will also help you in developing your product. So you can see 4 components that if you are trying to develop a powerful product, these 4 components have to be there. The believability, which is the credibility, all right? And there's a measure of personalization, guarantee. So you're removing the friction, okay, from them believing that you work for them. The product has to have an element of trust, and then it's got to have, when they say they're not ready yet, and sometimes maybe they don't have the money, you've got to have like a sales process that nurtures them until they are ready. So now, one of the things I did was to find out what are the top 12 selling products of all time, like since the days of Adam, and since man started buying things. What are the top 12 selling products of all time? This is very useful. What you have here, you can actually do a screenshot of it, because what you have here is powerful. When I did my executive coaching certification program in Florida, a city in Florida called Sarasota, so one of the requirements was a sort of mini project that we had to complete before you could be certified. You complete it and then present it, to the group. So I worked with another man in the team, and what we decided to talk about, to investigate, was why some businesses lasted 1,000 years, 1,400 years, 500 years, and then others don't. And then, in fact, as I looked at this product category, I saw that if you look at the people who are billionaires in the world today, it relates to this. Okay? If you look at people who, or businesses that have lasted for a long time, they all relate to these product categories. So food, clothing, shelter, water, medicine, tools, technology, education, religion, spirituality, entertainment, transportation. These are the top 12 selling products of all time, and this should help you in deciding what products. Now, I tried very hard. I have used this material. I have used it like 20 years ago, and I lost it. That was before the days of the internet. And so a gentleman wrote an article and listed 25 or 26 reasons people buy, and I thought it was fantastic. I don't remember his name. I checked it online today to be able to give the proper credit. But this is phenomenal. This is something you should also take a snapshot, a screenshot. This is gold. What you're seeing before you is gold. Remember, I said it's not just enough knowing what people buy. It is even more important knowing why they buy. People buy things that will make them more money. Programs, coaching events, education. They buy because they want to make money. So you can take a screenshot of this and then take some time and go through it with your team. People buy things that save them time. People buy things to avoid unnecessary effort. People buy, and it will amaze you, the fifth reason, to attract the opposite sex. You would be amazed the things that ladies buy in order to attract the men, and the things that men go through and buy to attract the opposite sex. So they might be going to the gym because they tell you they want to get healthy, that they want to get muscles. That is their what. They want to get muscles and then look really ripped. That is the what. But the why is attraction, to feel good. So look at all the things there: to have fun, to prevent embarrassment, to improve health. Okay, like number 14, to prevent embarrassment. A couple of years ago, there was a brawl between a certain prophet, in Nigeria, who promised a multi-billionaire at the time, who was having erectile dysfunction, that he was going to kill him. And that was when money was money. And some of you may remember that case, because the guy eventually had to report him to EFCC. That's the Economic Crimes Commission in Nigeria. So he would tell him, okay, bring 5 million. The guy will bring 5 million. He said, bring 10 million. And then until the thing became 40 million, the man's menini was not responding, with all that money. So the guy realized he was being scammed, by this fake prophet. So people can spend 40 million naira just to kill erectile dysfunction. So you just have to know that. And women can spend their last money just to look good, to be in style, to have the latest hair. You've got to understand this. This is the gold. Why people buy. Okay. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 core human needs. So I'm going to share 2 different perspectives on the core human needs. So there's the physiological needs, the food, water, shelter. And then the interesting thing, some of you are familiar with Maslow's pyramid. The interesting thing about this pyramid is that when people have not satisfied one level, they find it very difficult to go into the next. All right. So people are still dealing with food, water, shelter, sleep, clothing, warmth. Okay. They are not concerned about safety yet. That's why when you go to the hood, Americans call it the hood. In this part of the world, I don't know what we call it, Ajegunle kind of places and things like that. People are not concerned about the safety needs that much, because I after youth service, I didn't get a job. I spent quite some bit of time at Makoko. So I know how these people, so every day when they wake up, it's just what will they eat, who will they sleep with, and all that. Then you go to the next level, which is safety needs. Now, if the people in the hood, in these neighborhoods, make a little money, the very next thing, they start thinking about security. So you start seeing them moving out of that place to a place where they have gates in the compound, and they have burglary proofs and all that. Okay, then there's the love and belonging needs, there's the esteem needs, there's the self-actualization needs. Now, the implication of this is, if your target market, remember we said there are two conditions to create powerful products. Number one is you've got to understand who these people are, who they are. So, and if you don't understand who they are, you will not understand what and why they buy. Because if you go to the people in that Ajegunle and Makoko, and then you start selling financial fitness challenge coaching to them, you are wasting your time, because these people are not, they want food. So if you rather set up a business that makes 5 naira biscuits, 5 naira biscuits, you do sachet water and things like that, and then you produce mats for where they will sleep, you will make more money than if you go there and start, you want to tell, oh yeah, come, let me teach you people business strategy. Nobody will listen to you. Okay, so that's why it's important knowing this core human needs. Yes, Okereke said physiological needs the greatest challenge currently in my country. Absolutely, absolutely. So many people. That's why we've been advertising some coaching programs and things like that. The response is not very, because people are still looking for food. But unfortunately, it is when you step into the very next level that you can be drawn away from those physiological needs into the higher ones. There's also a way that Tony Robbins popularized the 6 human needs. He identified 3, what he called the 6 human needs, and I really liked it. So when he came up with this the first time, a couple of years ago, it sounded really, really powerful. So there's a certainty, comfort spectrum. Right? So the need to feel safe and to feel very comfortable is a big need for all of us. People want to feel comfortable. People need, sometimes they need uncertainty, because some people, we are not really wired for routine. So there's sometimes, if you keep on eating eba, egusi soup every day, eba, egusi soup, eba, egusi soup, eba, egusi soup every day, you're going to be bored. We weren't wired like that. Okay? Except if it is, you just find yourself in a situation where you just can't. So people need variety, and they need a measure of uncertainty. So, which is very interesting, because the first one, they need certainty. They want to feel stable, but they also need a measure of certainty. So you want to have that job, you really like the job, but at the same time, you still want variety. You don't want to be in one company for 30, 40 years. So the third one is significance. People need to feel special, to be made to feel special. So marketers understand this very, very well, because everybody wants to be appreciated. Everybody wants to feel important and needed. People want to feel loved and connected with other people. There's the growth need. People want to constantly grow intellectually, spiritually, emotionally. And then there's also the contribution need. There's always, what surprises me, everywhere I have gone in this continent to work, when I ask people things like around, things around where they see themselves, assuming that money was not an issue, what do they see themselves doing? And it always surprises me the degree to which people say, oh, I want to be able to help the less privileged. It's actually a need inside of us, because we don't find full satisfaction as human beings, no matter how wicked somebody is. You can't be satisfied until you give of yourself, until you contribute to a community and to other people. So what I have also done, if you take a screenshot of this, what I have also done is to categorize all these 25 reasons, the former 25 reasons I gave you, under the 6 human needs. What you immediately see, when I did this, what I immediately saw, which I'm sure you should see it by now, what I immediately saw, this is hidden gem, is if you can look at it, what do people buy the most all over the world? Of all those 6 human needs, the 6 core human needs, looking at this thing you are seeing on the screen, where do people spend the most money? Where do they spend the most money? You can see that they spend the most money. First of all, yes, in the Adarity, you're correct. They spend it in the certainty comfort spectrum. No, but people just want to. They don't want wahala, like we say. People don't want wahala. They do. So they first of all want to just make sure, look, I'm stable. I'm comfortable, first of all, before you now go out to start fighting. You want to make sure you're actually comfortable, first of all. So people spend the most money there. Which is why also the matrix, and I'm whispering this. This is why the matrix, the system of the world, is made to destabilize that thing. Because a hungry person cannot confront a bad government. So they want to make sure that they keep you in that constant state where you are not financially free, where you are not stable. Because if you are not stable, what are you going to fight with? You go out there to protest hunger. By the time hunger now fires you, deals with you, by 12 noon, and you haven't seen the senator to beat because they themselves, they are hiding somewhere, you go back home and then enjoy your hunger. Okay? Now, I also found that the very next portion, the very next place where people spend the most amount of money is the issue of significance. Things that make them significant. Which is why you come to social media and you find people flaunting even things that they don't have. They take picture with very other people's cars that look flashy. They take pictures in flashy mansions, and because everybody wants to feel significant. And this is very, very important. This is gold for you as an entrepreneur. So now you're beginning to see if you are going to develop a product that will have that wow effect that Steve Jobs products used to have, you've got to understand this very, very well. Okay? And then this is the final slide, but this is also basically just capping all the things that we've been talking about. So you need to understand the elements of value, because the value is as defined by the market, by the target market, not as defined by you. And then these values are categorized just like we've been discussing: social impact, life-changing, that's transformational, emotional, functional. So these are the different sources of value. And then I will need you to study this, and it's very, very related to the 25 things that people want to buy. Now, when you understand this gap, when you understand this value, it becomes very, very easy for you to build incredible products. Finally, today, let's talk about the characteristics of products that stand out in the marketplace. So if you want your product, if you want your brand to stand out, these are the things. These are the 19. With all the years I've been working with organizations, I've been working with companies, I have come up with these 19 characteristics of products. Any products that stand out, have them. So what you will need to do is to create a checklist with these 19 characteristics, 19 qualities. So the current products you have, you take all your products and then you put them in this matrix and be able to tell. Okay, this will give you, like, on a scale of 0 to 10, how powerful your product is and how much it resonates with the audience. So we won't be able to read all of them, We're already about 7 minutes over the hour, but you are going to see this and then have it in the replay and take time to look at it. You see, a product that is a winning product that stands out interprets the customer's deepest dreams. So the product, like we were talking about Steve Jobs, before he came out with iPod, nobody knew that we needed iPod at the time. Nobody knew that we needed it. It's just in recent history that we had cassettes, cassette player, from cassette players to CDs to DVDs. And then I remember in those days, if you wanted to listen to a song, you couldn't. So, but many of you born only 25 years ago, you don't even know what I'm talking about. In those days, if you needed to listen to, so the music were produced in albums. So nobody did singles in those days, 1970s, 1980s. Music was produced in albums. And then an album could have 13 songs, 15 songs, 12 songs, 16 songs. Does anybody in the group remember? If you remember, if you're old enough to remember what I'm talking about, just say so in the comment section. Now, from cassette tapes, we had these cassette players, which in fact, as we're talking about, this thing looks like 18th century. But this thing was just 30 years ago, 40 years ago. And then, so you had cassette players, you slot this cassette inside it, and then so if you wanted a particular music, you have to wait until it gets there. And then if the one you wanted had played, you have to rewind. And then you stop, play. No, it hasn't gotten there. You rewind again. It was incredible. And then from there, we now had CDs. But CDs were still in albums, 13 songs, 15 songs, and you couldn't buy one. You had to buy the whole of them, the entire album with the 15 songs. And even though out of the 15 songs in the album, you may have it's just one or two that you really like. But you couldn't go to the music store and say, oh, no, I just want the first and second music and all that. They will say, oh, well, sorry, you've got to buy it because we can't tear the CD and give you. And while all this were going on, Steve Jobs quietly came up with this contraption, this brilliant product that interpreted the dreams of the world, of the customer. What was the dream? The customers were dreaming of having something portable. The customers were dreaming of being able to have the freedom to listen to only the particular song that they wanted to without having to listen to 15 others. And they wanted to pay for just one, not to pay for the whole 15. The customers were dreaming about something they could carry in their pocket that could have 40,000 songs that they could just press something and listen to. My, oh my. So the iPod came and then it killed CD. It killed the way music was consumed in the whole wide world. That's the kind of product that you and I need to create. So these are the 19 things that a winning product should have. Okay. So that was 1 to 10, and this is 11 to 9. Maybe I should just mention one more before we round off tonight. So a winning product should, number 16, create a desire to share with others. Yeah, the product should be such that there's a desire to share with others. Have you ever had an experience? Maybe you went to a hair salon, or maybe you went to a particular restaurant, or maybe you watched a particular movie, and it was so wow, you couldn't wait to get to work the next day to tell your colleagues about this hair salon, about this woman in K2 who does natural hair. Has anybody ever had that kind of experience? Yeah, so you want to create services and products that want to make the people come back. Okay. Number 18, a winning product should inspire loyalty so that you will encourage repeat purchases, because that's where money is made. There's a particular soap, and I don't want to say because I don't want to I'm not advertising for them, but there are some products you're using right now because that's what your mother used. And then if you go, you find out that that's what your grandmother used. So there are products so good that an entire family has become very, very loyal to that particular product. And then if you have that kind of product in your family, please put it in the chat. Something that your dad loved and used. And right now you find yourself using it. Something that your mom used and loved it. And right now you find you are actually using the same thing to bathe your baby. Could be the same Johnson & Johnson product. Could be the same whatever. The same diapers that your mother used. You saw your mother use. And that is what you're using 20-something years later now in your own family. Okay? So you want your product to inspire. Don't go for the quick money. Because that's the problem with us in Nigeria. We just go for the quick money. We don't really give the thing enough time to marinate and then to learn more and to interact with the market. And then we pull it out and start designing another thing. But see, before that generational product you were using became what it was, there was so much research and development and customer feedback and then improvement until it came to a place, where a lot of people love it. Whoa, did you get value tonight? Say so in the chat. Say so in the chat, okay? Yeah, so this is where we will round off tonight. And we will continue the series on developing winning products. And I'm actually thinking about taking us through a design thinking session, which is exactly what the Silicon Valley people, which is exactly what Apple and all these people use to develop incredible products that everybody is dying for. Samsung uses it. HP uses it. Google uses it. They all use design thinking. And then they make products that make you feel like it was just done exactly for you. Okay, so I want to thank you all for being part of the session tonight. Please share very widely. If you're getting value, get your friends, get your fellow business people and other people you believe, will benefit from this. Get them to be part of it. So this is day 12 we just rounded off. We still have 898 days to go. And I am expecting to see multi-millionaires, very happy families, financially free individuals coming out of this. And I hope you can feel it already. Yes, Chukwebuka, the replay is always available on my page. And then it's also available on YouTube. So you might want to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you will always find it very well arranged there in a play that will last for 1,000 days. Alrighty, so you have a wonderful evening, and I'm going to see you same time tomorrow evening. Bye for now. Love you all.